Hey everyone, this is Adam Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology. Happy Monday, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at the astrology for the week ahead. That is today, December 2nd, until Sunday, December 8th. So we will preview all of the major transits of the week and hopefully give you some insights and ideas for how to prepare for them. And I'll also be telling you a little bit more about the content that is planned for the week, so you also know which ones we'll be covering more as the week goes on. So that's our goal for today. Remember to like and subscribe before we get started. It really does help the channel to grow. And thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed in the past couple of months. We have really done a good job at increasing our average subscriber total per month, which is really great. So thank you to everybody. You can find transcripts of all of these daily talks on the website, which is nightlightastrology.com. A couple of things that I want to point out to you today. One is that we have a new series of live events that are going to be taking place here in Minneapolis. So if you go over to the website, nightlightastrology.com, and you click on the events page, and then you'll see in-person events. We are having a winter solstice gathering in Minneapolis on December 21st from 6 to 8:30 p.m. It is free. You can RSVP on the website to let us know you're coming so we can know how much tea and snacks to bring. But we're going to be getting together to do a little bit of movement, a little bit of meditation, and a little bit of hangout time around the solstice. Make a nice ritual out of the event. So if you are in the Twin Cities area and you'd like to attend, head over to the website, nightlightastrology.com. Again, it's free. Just click on the events page, go to in-person events, and you will find the RSVP and details about the event there. So I hope to see some of you there. That I'm really, really excited for. Because, it's been a long time since we had our yoga studio and we did regular live in-person events with people, yoga classes, stuff like that. So we're kind of starting something new here, and hopefully we'll be able to meet some of the community out there in the around the solstice. The other thing, of course, is that we are in the midst of our 11th annual Kickstarter campaign. So for the last days of the year, we are trying to rally the support of 1,937 backers. We are several hundred into our towards our goal already, but we have a long way to go, and we really need your support to make it there. If you go to the Kickstarter, which you can find the link in the description of this video, in the comment section of this video, or if you go over to the website, nightlightastrology.com, you can find the link to head over to the Kickstarter page. At the end of today's video, there is a little additional video tagged on to tell you about all of the unique rewards we offer. The best thing we offer really is major discounts on all of our online programs when you support the channel in the year ahead. So that means that you can pick up year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4 class bundles of 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the programs. And when you do that, that is your effectively just a sale on the tuition that we run through the Kickstarter. So it works that way and really does help us to support the channel, support the need-based model of our school, and all the scholarships that we give people, support the affordable reading service. Everything works in the Nightlight business model through the generosity of the audience, supporting the free content of this channel year in and year out. So anyway, you can find tons of really great rewards when you offer readings, some exclusive content, year ahead horoscope readings, all sorts of stuff like that. We really do appreciate everybody who's pitched in so far. And every day I like to say just a little something about what I think makes the channel valuable and worth supporting. Today, I want to mention that there is a very clear intention on my part about the tone that I take as a creator with respect to astrological reporting. So whenever I'm working on explaining a transit, what I try to hold the tension of is honest, but encouraging. So whenever you watch the content, you can know that I'm very conscious of trying to tell you what I honestly think any kind of archetypal combination, transits, and aspects are like in the way we experience them. I don't try to bypass and make everything pretty and nice when some transits and aspects or certain dimensions of archetypal combinations are difficult. But at the same time, I always try to find ways that we might think about anything that is difficult with encouragement. So I'm always trying to strike that balance between honest assessments and honest conversations about archetypes that also don't lean into disaster thinking or fear or crisis-laden language, and instead are encouraging. So if that is something that you value as well, because that's certainly the way that those reflect my own values. That's the way that I like to relate to astrology. I don't like astrology to be a source of existential or cosmic anxiety, right? But I want honest but encouraging ways of thinking and looking at astrology. So that is a intentional part of how I cook your content every day. And if it's something you value, and you've come to rely on from this channel, then I hope you'll consider donating and supporting us. And of course, if you can't afford to donate, prayers, good energy, a candle on your altar for our growth and our maturity as a company and as a content creator are also deeply appreciated. Okay, well, on that note, let's turn our attention to the real-time clock, where we are going to look at the week ahead. All right, I'm backing up here. Here is Monday. So we have a bunch of transits this week. It is a very busy week. I recommend, if you have not yet looked into it, to check out last week's Astrology of December, as well as your horoscopes for December, because that will break down some of these transits in the first week with more depth and detail from both Whitney and Alexandra and myself, as well as your horoscopes with Dana and Alex. So if you haven't taken those in, be sure to do that. But here we are at the beginning of the week. And what we're going to roll through is on December 2nd, that's today, to start the week, Venus is trining Uranus. We're going to take a look at that. As the week goes on, the next major string of transits come on Wednesday of this week, when Mercury retrograde will be opposing Jupiter again. And I have some content planned for that opposition. And then on the same day, the Sun will be squaring Saturn. So midweek, we've got a very interesting dynamic between Sun and Saturn and Mercury and Jupiter happening on the same day. That's Wednesday. We'll be taking a look at that. On the 5th, the very next day, Mercury will be moving through Cazimi, meaning moving through an exact conjunction with the Sun. You can see that taking place later here in the day on December 5th. That Cazimi is something we'll also be looking at through our content this week. I have a whole kind of planned talk for that particular aspect, because that Mercury Cazimi is quite powerful given the T-square that it's taking place in the midst of. Now, if we move forward just a touch more, we're going to see that Mars will then turn retrograde. You can see the station and retrograde happening here on the 6th. That is Friday. So what a busy week, right? I mean, you have just a massive string of transits throughout the entire week. If we go forward just a little bit more, that's Friday. Then we're going to have on, take that Friday into Saturday, right? 6th into the 7th. And then on Saturday, we have Venus conjoining Pluto. I have some content prepared for that conjunction as well. And then on the same day that Venus is conjoining Pluto in Aquarius on Saturday, December 7th, we also have the Sun opposing Jupiter. So, when you have a week like this where there are so many events taking place, I mean, let's go back and just go through them quickly, right? Today, Venus trine Uranus. Wednesday, Mercury retrograde opposite Jupiter, the mutual reception by detriment and opposition. On the same day, the Sun squares Saturn. The next day, Mercury's Cazimi. On the 6th, Mars turns retrograde. On the 7th, Venus conjoins Pluto. And on the 7th, Sun opposes Jupiter. It's like, whoa, that's a lot. That's a big, big week. So I think something we can do today that's going to be really helpful is sort of talk briefly about each one of them. And then, as the week goes on, we're going to be dealing with Mercury opposite Jupiter. We're going to be dealing with Mars, Mercury retrograde. We're going to be dealing with Venus conjoined Pluto. And I'll be dealing a little bit more tomorrow with Mars's retrograde. So some really big things that we'll be looking at as the week goes on. One of the busier weeks of the year, given that we're looking at some major aspects in the midst of Mars turning retrograde. So December's a busy month. Let's start by looking at what's happening today. So today we have the trine from Venus in Capricorn. Let me back this up a little bit. Go back to the beginning of the week. Here we are. All right, so Venus in Capricorn trining Uranus in Taurus. A nice trine between these two planets with Venus in the superior position. I don't usually consider the superior-inferior distinction so much when an outer planet is involved. They don't always, they don't always play by the traditional rules. So anyway, if we look at that and just kind of consider the Venus trine to Uranus in a vacuum, When the two planets cooperate in a smooth flowing trine, you will often see that there are advantages to thinking creatively outside of the box, or to innovation around things like love, sex, creativity, or to quirkiness and eccentricity and kind of playful rebelliousness within relationships or in various social contexts. And that is because Venus and Uranus in a trine tend to bring out the more flowing, smooth, harmonious ways in which Venus and Uranus relate overall. And that pairs beauty, friendship, harmony, sexuality, and the aesthetic dimensions of life, broadly speaking, Venus, with the rebellious, creative, original, defiant, and sort of eccentric and disruptive qualities of Uranus. So you put them together and you have like, a playfulness around love and intimacy, or you have a gentle but persistent need to break rules creatively. You have a flowing connection between that which is harmonious and that which is eccentric, which might make for fun and unusual things that don't feel as risky or as intense or provocative as they might if Venus and Uranus were square or opposed, for example. So this is interesting, though, because we also remember by the end of the week, of course, we have Venus conjoining Pluto. And that Venus conjunction with Pluto coming off from the trine to Uranus suggests a big week for Venus. So I really do wonder if this contact with Uranus, that whatever it is provoking, stimulating creatively, and in terms of breaking rules or breaking outside of boxes and working towards something more original around love, sex, creativity, relationship, sensuality, pleasure, is then going to carry over into a deeper and more profound transition by the 7th when Venus conjoins Pluto. It's like, are we being set up for this looks smooth, but could the implications of this, sometimes it's like, well, that was really fun. It's got me thinking maybe some things should change around here. You can almost see a sequence like that happening, in other words, just by virtue of the fact that the Venus trine to Uranus comes just days prior to a Venus conjunction to Pluto, right? So worth paying attention to Venusian things this week overall, I think, is the message I'm trying to impart here. All right, let's go to the 4th. The middle of this week then gets us into a really interesting situation. I'm going to put the real-time clock back up. Let's advance this to the 4th. So on the 4th, we have of course, the Mercury-Jupiter opposition. And I've got some content cooked up for that one because it's a big deal. We have that opposition by mutual reception, by detriment, and through an opposition. And I've talked a number of times about the ability for these two planets to work something out or to find a common ground despite having somewhat different agendas. It is as though there is some willingness to compromise or to include things that we might not otherwise like to include or think to include. There is a kind of negotiating, deconstructing, reconsidering, reflecting on tendency mentally, philosophically, in communication around ideas. There's a kind of dialectical happening this week that is also a part of the ongoing Jupiter-Saturn dynamic. And so if you took the time to track your Jupiter-Saturn cycles, just know that this week features a really important movement from Mercury and Jupiter that is contributing to the ongoing systematic and philosophical changes of the Jupiter-Saturn square. More on that as the week goes on. The other thing that's happening in the middle of the week, of course, is the Sun square to Saturn. Now, one thing I really love about this is that we do have the Sun in the superior position. So what does that mean? That means that the Sun will be inflecting itself on Saturn rather than Saturn on the Sun. The combination is the same, but you tend to have the solar qualities being stronger and more dominant than the Saturnian qualities when the planet is in the superior position. Now, in this case, they're both in Jupiter-ruled signs, and so I would imagine that there's something a little bit melancholic or a little heavy emotionally that Saturn is bringing forth, different kinds of emotional obligations, different kinds of angsty feelings, different kinds of romantic and spiritual sentiments that Saturn brings forth that are maybe a little heavy. The Sun in Sagittarius likes that optimistic, free-spirited, unbound movement. It's buoyant, optimistic, charismatic, fiery, and loves freedom. So when the sun is overcoming that Saturn, you're almost thinking about what appears as a prohibition is actually something that can be overcome or worked around or won over through charm and positivity. Or at the very least, that we can believe our way through some moment of doubt or temporary despair, or the feeling of the feeling of being a little thwarted or blocked, and the sense that we can overcome it with some kind of faith or good spirits. So anytime you see the sun's square to Saturn, you think about a heaviness, a lethargy, a weightiness, maybe a sense of duty or obligation, the carrying of heavy things that are valiant and noble and that we have to bring a lot of heart to in order to endure. And, I can do hard things. Now, the sun overcoming Saturn in the superior position from a fiery sign like Sagittarius, to me, is good news because it means that this isn't going to be a wet blanket that can completely bring you down. When the sun is in the inferior position and Saturn's in the superior position, it's almost like getting your wings clipped. Whereas here, I feel like the wings are given in order to overcome or rise above something that feels like an inertia. So I would look at this week's Sun square Saturn as an ability to overcome something that appears as maybe initially a difficulty. Now that is also reflected in the mutual reception by detriment and opposition from Mercury and Jupiter. It is as though something is getting worked out. And this, I think, is a good thing. So we'll look at the middle of the week as the ability to negotiate, find resolution, mediation, compromise, working through problems, solving problems, overcoming obstacles. I see that as probably the most sort of generic, but also appropriate way of broadly looking at these transits in the middle of the week. Now, on the 5th, Mercury is Cazimi. And I got to say, after the sun's passed over Saturn, Mercury's passed over Jupiter, this Mercury Cazimi feels like a pretty empowered moment. Obviously, any planet Cazimi is often talked about as becoming empowered by virtue of being at the heart of the sun. We're going to explore this in depth on Thursday of this week. But I love this transit just for the sake of gaining a sense of confidence, faith, hope, charisma, speaking from the heart, and also maybe feeling as though we are getting clear about a kind of philosophical or ideological shift that's taking place for us. And it could be in any area of our life or more broadly, sort of our approach to life overall. Sometimes you just feel like you are going through a season of personal and existential change. I'm reflecting, I'm growing, I'm learning. That's usually what's taking place during the entire broad period of a Jupiter-Saturn square for all of us, but it's heightened a little bit by this Mercury retrograde. So I could see this Cazimi moment being especially clarifying or sort of lucid. More on that later in the week. Now, of course, the big news of the week, kind of bury the lead here, but that's Mars turning retrograde in the sign of Leo. So this Mars retrograde in Leo, we've talked about on my channel a number of times. If you go back over the past 3 or 4 weeks, you're going to find multiple videos talking about Mars's retrograde in Leo. We're going to be doing some more content on that tomorrow. And we're also going to be looking at the series of Mars-Pluto oppositions that are coming with this Mars retrograde, because almost immediately as Venus conjoins Pluto in Aquarius this week, Venus will then go into the opposition with Mars. So we're going to sort of look at the Leo-Aquarius axis for all 12 signs and horoscopes tomorrow to give and some dates to mark on your calendar where the oppositions between Mars and Leo retrograde and Venus and Pluto will be pronounced. Because in the next month or so, we're going to have a couple of very potent oppositions, and it's important to sort of mark your calendar and be prepared for that. So we're going to do some horoscopes on that tomorrow, and then the actual turning retrograde of Mars is on the 7th. At the exact same time, by the way, that Venus conjoins Pluto. So again, that's why we'll be pairing those two together in tomorrow's content. All right, well, that being said, we do have the Venus conjunction to Pluto on the 7th at the same time that the sun is opposite Jupiter. Now that sun opposition to Jupiter, with Jupiter being the host of the sun, once again speaks to the importance of looking at or challenging ideas, revising ideas, going through periods of doubt, deconstruction, analysis, reconstruction, and sort of the idea of emerging with a shifting view, a different perspective, maybe even a different paradigm that's emerging. Venus conjoined Pluto suggests the same thing on a certain level, as Venus's conjunction to Pluto is about relationships, the social dimension of life, harmony with other people, as well as a major shift in paradigm or thought or the kinds of ideas that are most important for us socially to be connected to others through. And so there's this kind of social, philosophical, relational transformation that's pronounced by the end of the week when the sun opposes Jupiter across Sag and Gemini, while Venus conjoins Pluto in Aquarius. You get the feeling of important ideas being tested or challenged or revised or considered with an especially social dimension to that experience. It's not just internal with Venus conjoining Pluto. It's somehow there's some impact on a social dimension of your life, in intimate relationships, social groups that you belong to. So we watch for that toward the end of the week as a theme that's growing. And then, of course, just kind of previewing, then next week, Venus will oppose Mars. And then, that gets pretty spicy. That'll be a major transit we discuss next week. So don't forget that there's also a live stream I'll be doing this week. So if you want to come on, do some Q&A with me, ask any questions you have about astrology, and also I'll be doing some live birth chart readings. You'll see that posted under the live tab of my channel, that the event will be there, and you'll see the scheduled time and date. I haven't set it up yet, so this is just a little, this is what happens when you record a little bit in advance. So the exact date and time I don't have posted, but it'll be there by the time you watch this. Just go to the live tab, and you'll see the scheduled live stream for this week. I hope you'll be able to attend. Don't forget, overall, right now, we're off to a good start with our Kickstarter, but we have, well over 1,000 more backers to go, plus. So we need support from all of you who enjoy the channel. Pick a great reward when you donate. After I sign off, you'll hear me describe the different rewards you can get, including all of our classes, majorly discounted, some readings, horoscopes for the year ahead, all sorts of cool stuff. Thank you so much to everyone who's supported the channel so far. And I hope that you are having a good start to your week, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around. I'm going to tell you about the different rewards that we offer when you donate and support our channel in the year ahead. So you'll find a link to the Kickstarter in the description of this video, in the comments section of this video, as well as on our website, nightlightastrology.com. If you head over there, you'll see at the top of the page there is a menu item that says Kickstarter 2025. You can click on that and be taken over to the Kickstarter campaign page. So once you're there, if you scroll down on the right-hand side, you're going to see different pledge levels and different gifts and sales that we run as a way of saying thank you for your support. So among those, our most popular offering by far are the major discounts that we offer on our training programs. So if you are interested in studying astrology at Nightlight in 2025, whether you're a brand new student or a currently enrolled student who's thinking of taking one of our year 2, 3 horary programs, you're going to find that these are the best rates that we run on the entire year. And we do this as a way of both saying thank you and also of helping us raise funds to support the channel, our staff, and everything we do. So you'll see attend one Nightlight course there. That's about 50% off the total cost of the program and about $500 off the early bird rate. And then you'll scroll down and you'll see that if you bundle 2 courses together, the savings go way up. Bundle 3, they go up even more. I mean, the difference between the 2 and 3 class package is $200. So $200 more, you get 3 of our year-long programs. And if you get all the way to the 4 class pass, then you have all 4 years of our program. You can take them at any pace you like, renew them whenever you like. There's no timeline on when you use these class passes. And you will have all 4 years of content at about 75% off each of the programs individually when you get that bundle. So those are our best savings for sure. Highly recommend those. If you have any questions about our courses or programs, email us info@nightlightastrology.com or look at the website under the classes page, courses page. You'll find information about each of the individual courses we offer. And then if you scroll up, you're going to find some of our other programs that are greatly discounted. Ashley's Herbal Foundations apprenticeship course, which many people are interested in who come through our Moon Circle that Ashley and I lead each month. You scroll up, you're going to find our masterclass series for 2025, greatly discounted, as well as our Roots and Spheres Moon Circle, greatly discounted. There's hundreds of dollars of savings in each of those. So we really try to make sure that the Kickstarter acts as a good flash sale for all of our programs. You'll then find some really nice prices on previous archives, archive talks, like our 2024 archive masterclass bundle, which is about 30 hours worth of content on specialized topics in astrology. You can see the topics listed in each of the bundles as you scroll through. 2023's masterclass bundle, huge savings on those and a lot of really great content. You'll see a few reading options as you continue to go from the bottom to the top. You'll see the 2025 year ahead mini reading. There's only 30 of these. These are individualized birth chart readings that I do, looking at the most significant transit in your birth chart for 2025. I record those personally. You'll then see that there is an Ask 3 Horary Questions option where you can get 3 horary questions to redeem whenever you'd like within the year ahead. Those are kind of yes, no predictive questions. Will I get the job? Will we get together? Things like that. Then you'll see the Astrology for Complete Beginners course is also discounted through the Kickstarter. This is a great 10 hours worth of content for people who are brand new to astrology. So whether that's you or maybe a gift for somebody else. And then you're going to see some individual master classes that are greatly discounted from the past year. So all of 2024's masterclass series are the archives of which 8 to 10 hours each are on sale. And then scroll up a little bit more and you'll see one of our most popular offerings, which are the year ahead horoscope readings. These year ahead horoscope readings include 30 to 45 minutes of a breakdown of all the major transits of the year ahead for each sun and rising signs. You get all of them with this package, which is a great deal. It's like 10 hours worth of content, 8, 9, 10 hours, somewhere in there. I haven't finished recording all of them yet. So as of the time I'm recording this, I'm anticipating it'll land around 10 hours. But yeah, anyway, so you scroll up, you'll see those horoscope videos will all be delivered to you right around January 1st when the Kickstarter ends. Scroll up a little bit more, you'll find The Oracle Speaks, which is my book, and this is being released chapter by chapter. It is a book about the inner experience of learning to speak with oracles, and it is being released chapter by chapter in both text and audiobook form, so you can listen along to my new book. And that takes us up to the Astrology of 2025 video. This, for your donation at the $50 level, gives you an exclusive talk breaking down all of the major astrological transits of 2025. I look in depth at some of the biggest things happening in the year ahead and break them down in advance. And that's the only place I release that video or that take on the whole year ahead. Finally, at the very top, the most basic level of donation, you'll see the Astrology of 2025 calendar. This is a PDF calendar we design and make that allows you to track and move along with the astrology as the year unfolds. This is also great if you want to track what we're going to be talking about week by week on my channel. You'll get a glimpse at the biggest transits of each day and month and week. And that will give you some sense of where we're heading with our coverage of the astrology on the channel as the year unfolds. So again, any questions about any of the rewards that you see, email us info@nightlightastrology. Link is in the description, comments, or on the website, nightlightastrology.com. Help us get to 1,937 backers by January 1st. We deeply appreciate your contribution. We try to make sure we have some really special rewards to say thank you when you contribute. All right, take it easy. Bye.